you want to have some milk ready, about 3/4 of a cup of milk. And in the milk, you put about 1½ teaspoons of yeast. And then you just mix that around. Mix that around until it dissolves. And all of this basically goes into a food processor. So into the food processor goes the milk and the yeast. And then you want 2 eggs and have some cheese ready. And in this case, we're going to be using Parmigiano Reggiano, which is the cheese from northern Italy, from the region of Emilia-Romagna. How about some melted butter? About 6 tablespoons. About 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Put the top on and get this all mixed up before you put the flour in. You're going to need about 3¼ to 3½ cups of flour. So get that all well mixed up, and then you can start adding the flour a little at a time until you have a nice ball of dough. So again, we're using unbleached all-purpose flour. Put that much in because, as I say, every kitchen is different. Put the top back on, get that going. Clean up while you're watching that. And now, add more flour, because I can obviously see, and so can you, that is never going to be enough. That goes in. Now, when that dough starts to come away from the side of the bowl, well, then you know that you can take it out. You're probably going to have to work it on the board with a little bit more flour. See how nice that looks? It's nice and soft, and it pulls away beautifully. So knead it a few times on the board. And if you think you need more flour, well, then just put it down. And then you want to put this into a lightly greased bowl. So a little bit of olive oil, just a dab, goes in your bowl. Take the dough, put it in, take a piece of plastic wrap, and put it over the dough. And this is going to help keep the heat in and allow it to rise beautifully. So that goes over the top and off to the side for about 2 hours. And now we want to just distribute the gluten, punch that down, and take that out onto a floured surface for sure. So a little bit of flour goes down. Now, once this has risen for 2 hours, you're going to be baking this immediately. So before I roll that out, let me do one other thing, because we're going to add some flavoring to this. Here is some fresh rosemary. You just want to take, about a tablespoon and a half of just the rosemary leaves. Take it off the stem. Don't do this with dried rosemary because it just won't have the same flavor. And then just get it minced up. Flatten the dough out. Add the rosemary right over the top like that. And then that wonderful prosciutto. This is about 1/4 cup of diced prosciutto, so that goes off. And then you just start kneading that. And you want that look of having all of those ingredients come right through the dough. So if it starts to get a little bit sticky or wet on your board, well, then just put down a little extra flour and really knead that so that it's all evenly distributed. See, just like this. I'm going to put just a smidge more flour down, not too much because I don't want this to be too dry. Okay. Whoa, what a workout for the arms. All right, so now just want to roll this out now. So get your rolling pin, and you have ready a bake sheet. About 15.5-inch jelly roll pan or a baking pan, and you want to roll this out to fit a lightly greased pan. And if it starts to stick a little bit, add a little bit of flour. Pick it up, turn it over. You see how nice and stretchy it is. I'm going to give that just a little bit more flour on the top and keep rolling that. You don't have to roll it exact because you can always fit it to the pan, let me patch that little hole there. Doesn't this look pretty? It's like a little marbleized effect. So your oven is on at 350 degrees. You've greased it. You pick it up, hole and all, and slap it right on the pan. Then you fit it right to the pan. If you have a little hole, you patch, just like that. No one is ever going to see that. And this is going to bake up as a flatbread. You're going to cut this up into small squares and serve this as part of an antipasto. So you see what I do when I get a hole? I just pinch that together. So make sure it's all even. Looks great. Looks perfect to me. And into a 350 degree oven for about 20 or 25 minutes.